Yo, what's good everyone? Welcome back to another video. And today I'm going to be talking about the 3 things that I learned over these 2 years of appointment setting and setting over 6 figures worth of deals in the info product space primarily, but we can apply this to other niches as well. So let's get straight into it. I'd say the first thing I learned was a lot of the game is volume. This is stuff that you've heard before, but I cannot emphasize enough how important volume is, because most people aren't willing to put in the hard work, aren't willing to explore and really grow in that area. They're not willing to put in the numbers and the reps, because when you first start off as an appointment setter, when you're first starting off just with any skill, appointment setting, sales, it's no different to learning how to ride a bike. You're gonna suck in the beginning, and then you're gonna pick up some wins, you're gonna pick up some L's, and then you're gonna just find your stride. If you just keep at it, you'll start picking up, because your brain is very good at picking up certain patterns, right? That's what our brains are very good at. So when you see people, they seem naturally talented in a certain area, or they're just in the flow state, it's because their brain has gotten so good from picking up certain patterns that have repeated over and over again. And then therefore, it just makes them look effortless every time they do a certain task, right? So we need to get to that point, but you cannot get to that point if you don't put in the volume and the reps required. That's why there's the 10,000 hour rule, right? That's why people talk about that all the time. So a lot of the time it's volume, okay? If you wanna make more money, if you wanna make more commission, if you wanna book more meetings, then I suggest that you double, you triple, you 5x, even 10x your volume this week, right? And while keeping up the same activities, being proactive, clearing your inbox, all this good stuff, continuously learning, but just 10x your volume, just 5x, 10x your volume, see what happens over this next coming week, okay? So that's the first thing, is volume. That's very, very important. I'm actually gonna talk about a little equation that I've coined just over these past 2 years of being in the space. And I'd say, I haven't used it in a while, but I'll say it's 60 to 70% of it is volume, followed by, so 60 to 70% of it is volume, and then we'll lead on to the next point, which is skill. I'd say that's about 20 to 30% of it is skill, and then the last thing is 5 to 10% of it is lock-in timing. Okay, so I'll explain all of these in a second. So in terms of the skill now, of course, you can spray and pray, you can shoot from the hip, hit up 100,000 people, but if your system, if your framework, your way of getting them from cold lead, never knowing who you are, all the way to a book meeting, then sort of to a closed deal, which is what the closer's job is, then you're still kind of fucked, because, you need to know the basics, you need to learn human nature, you need to learn all this stuff, right? So the next 20-30% of it is actual skill and competence. So I've got tons of videos on my channel showing you how I personally do my appointment setting framework. Even to this day, I still use it, guys. So I want you to know it's battle tested, it's proven itself over and over again. Certain ways to, take a cold lead to a hot lead to a book meeting, how to handle certain objections, how to follow up, all that good stuff is already on my YouTube. So you need to go check that out if you haven't already. But a lot of it is skill. And then again, volume comes into play, because we cannot get good at the skill if you do not put in the volume and the numbers required to hit that level of skill. So over time, what I'd say that has been most valuable over these past 2 years in terms of skill is you need to start coming up with your own source. You need to get as comfortable as you can, as quickly as possible, not relying on someone else's framework, including mine, guys, including mine. I'm actually going to actively encourage for you to try and internalize the framework, because there's principles in there. It's not necessarily a script you have to follow, but you start coming up with your own source. Again, this is your brain picking up. This is your brain being in pattern recognition mode. Okay, so you're gonna start becoming more comfortable in there. You're gonna be talking to different types of prospects, knowing where they're at, gauging where they're at in terms of interest, right? Knowing what certain objections they might throw at you, and then you're gonna start coming up with your own source, being your personality, the way you talk. And I always tell people, like, the most high converting way of appointment setting and selling is if it's just authentic, if it's just you yourself, right? Because no one's the best at being you than you. So if you just go in there and you try and go off of someone else's script or framework, when in reality you're not feeling it and it's not who you are, right? Maybe in the beginning you have to follow it, but start developing your own source, guys. It not only does it make it more fun, makes it easier, it becomes way easier to build rapport, much quicker too. And then before you know it, now you're getting really good. But in reality, you're just adding your own sauce to it. So I'd say that's the second thing. And then the last thing is luck and timing involved. Well, of course, as much as we want to control all the controllable variables, which is what we actively encourage, there is a degree of luck and timing involved. Okay, so that's why things like follow-ups, things like confirmations, sending confirmations to people, that's going to help mitigate that or reduce or you capitalize on that luck and timing. Okay, so let's say you hit up someone 2 months ago and they were a pretty cold lead. They just followed the page, but they're pretty cold. They don't really know who you were. But then you follow up 2-3 months later. Let's say at that time they've actually absorbed all the content. They're way more warm, and then now they're ready to take action. Okay, but you wouldn't have found out if you didn't follow up, right? If you didn't send, if you didn't nurture them throughout the whole process. Okay, so luck and timing is definitely involved, as much as we don't want to admit it, right? But you just have to find a way to capitalize off of it while also mitigating, the bad luck and the bad timing that comes into it too. So I'd say that's the 3 things I've learned is lots of volume is what it takes. That's the foundation of it, followed by coming up with your own source and perfecting the skill, becoming very competent, because that's also going to translate into your sales career once you start closing. That's going to translate into other areas of life too. Okay, like you're going to be talking to people through text, through cold call, whatever it is, that you're going to actually translate that into certain areas of life. Or if you decide to start some other business, right, that's also going to translate, because communication skills is paramount to business success, and business is just person to person at the end of the day, right? Whether it's B2B, B2C, whatever, you're going to be dealing with a person on the other side. Okay, so the sooner you leverage that, the sooner you get around that and master it, the sooner your life's going to be easier in business career. Okay, and then the last thing is there is a bit of luck and timing involved. Okay, that's just how it is. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you have any more suggestions as to what your biggest lessons are being in this space then just comment it down below. We'd love to hear them. If you have any more recommendations as to what content you'd like to see next, just let me know as well. More than happy to take action on that and put it into a real video. So anyways, hope you like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.